Chicago World Championship Wrestling. This man, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, at one time held that world television title, now held by Tully Blanchard along with Baby Doll.
You know, traveling throughout this country, Dusty Rhodes is recognized everywhere because of his hats, not his eyes, because of his hair, his ability, and his rap. Dusty Rhodes is known all over the world. They don't need to look at my face, my clothes, to know who I am. We're talking about $500,000 a year, not $100 a week, you understand? That's what we're talking about. Ric Flair going around the country talking about how great he is. I just got a letter from a person named Owens out in Portland that's going to send me a kiss real shortly. That's how strong we are. And Owens, I know that you're listening right now, and I'm going to be banned for you, understand? Because I'm looking for it. Tully Blanchard, Baby Doll, now then, on this day right here, we're going to start taking care of business, and that is my world television title that you got around your waist. Now you got to deal with me, and you got to face the fact that there's no place you can hide, no place you can run, nowhere Baby Doll can stick that ugly face of hers without me finding it. And that's a fact. And facts are, the American dream is the best, is here. And the call-off will fall to me and Dick Slater very shortly. We gonna take it all. You like this hat?
Sure do.
You better like this hat. That's no lie.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining us on our inaugural episode of On the Network. The goal of the show is to sort of put a focus of what is on the WWE Network. Of course, we'll always be talking about current wrestling news and Raw and stuff. Well, anyway, I am Richard, and joining me is my co-host Tyler.
Hello, hello.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. Got out of work and watched a little of the Cavs game. Didn't go so well for us.
God, that was depressing. That was just so depressing.
Yes, it was. Did you see that ABC showed LeBron's dick on national television?
No.
Yes, they did.
Oh, Jesus.
He was like adjusting his shorts or something, and they got it right on camera.
That is amazing. Ric Flair was on the NBA Finals pregame show.
Yeah, I saw Mo came over and showed me that Ric Flair, Ziggler, and Miz were there in attendance.
Yeah, Flair, like, he just walked up to those guys, and he just did his, like, woo!
Yep,
and then,
Flair being Flair.
Yeah, and then he just did, like, his, like, little shuffle dance and just kind of walked away. And
I think if there's anyone in the world that doesn't give a shit more than anyone else, it's Ric Flair. He would walk up to the president and do his thing. It's just he'll do it to anyone. That's just who he is, and it's awesome.
Oh yeah, and you know, like, Flair is, like, he's up there in age. He's what, like, maybe 66 to 67 now?
Yeah, he's got to be up there
easily. And you know, he's just gotten to that point in his life where he's like, I don't give a fuck. I'm Ric Flair. You know, like,
exactly.
he's just crazy now. Like, he's always been like that, but seeing him as an older person, you just know that he just stopped caring.
I wonder if any of them will show up at NXT tomorrow since they're in town.
You know, that's a good question. I would not be completely surprised, but at the same time, I sort of would be.
It depends on their schedule. I don't know what else is going on at the moment. I know they're going to be in Cleveland for after Money in the Bank on Raw, so they're probably going to be not too far away, you know?
I mean,
I don't know. Is Money in the Bank in Columbus, right?
Yeah, Money in the Bank is in Columbus.
So yeah, they're going to be within 2 hours away the whole weekend, so they may show up.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot Money in the Bank was even this weekend. Jesus. Sunday's looking like it's packed for me.
It's going to be a good weekend, I think.
Yeah, because I'll be watching Game 5, and then I'll probably go to Game of Thrones, the season finale, and then catch Money in the Bank on one of the replays.
Yep.
That's the best way to do it, I think.
Yeah.
Who's even, like, wrestling in Money in the Bank?
Do you want to go over the card?
Yeah, because I haven't really watched a full Raw in like 2 weeks.
Okay, let's see. Pre-show, we got R-Truth versus King Barrett. So they continue to elevate our King of the Ring. He's where he belongs, right? On the pre-show.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that the King of the Ring thing is kind of a joke anyway. Like, they
Yeah.
just kind of were like, oh yeah, we're going to do this. Monday Night Raw, we're going to have matches for King of the Ring. And people are like, what the hell are you talking about? And they're like, oh yeah, Tuesday, King of the Ring. So you just made a house show into an event. Good job, guys. Good job.
Honestly, like you told me in the past, I think the only reason why they did it was to get away from the Bad News Barrett,
Which,
to change him to King Barrett.
yeah, pretty much. Because I think, like, Bad News Barrett lost a lot of his steam whenever they got rid of the moving podium. Or the elevating podium.
It doesn't make any sense though. They could have gave him some sort of a push. He's like beyond weak right now.
Yeah, but I think they've given him so many chances and he just gets hurt so often that it just doesn't even matter anymore.
Yeah.
And giving him this push again just doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, I think Neville would have been a good King of the Ring. Give someone like new a chance. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe that'd be too soon for him to get that kind of like spotlight. But come on, the guy was NXT champion for.
I would have even taken R-Truth. I mean, the guy is retiring soon. I think he would have been pretty funny.
Is he retiring soon though? Is he?
Yeah, that's what I keep hearing, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah. So, who do you want to win out of this, or who do you predict to win R-Truth out of Barrett?
I'm gonna go King Barrett, even though they've been burying him into the ground. I don't know. I'm thinking I'm gonna go King Barrett on that one.
Yeah, I think I'll probably go Barrett. It just makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, R-Truth just... I mean, really, what's he going to do? He'll come out there, he'll say, whoop, there it is, and what's up a couple times, and go
He had a
away.
funny spot in Raw. I don't know if you
I
saw it or
did
not,
see that part.
where he came out and thought he was in the Money in the Bank match, but he wasn't, so he's like, sorry, and left.
That's just so awkward, though. It's like, it's funny. It builds him as, like, that comedic character. But he should not be a comedic character at this point in his career. You know what I'm saying? Like they could definitely make R-Truth into a legitimate threat, if you will. If they would start focusing, hey, it's the end of my career. I really need to get this championship. You know, stuff like that. Like, start pushing the guy just a little. But, you know, that's working too much for their good old writers. Yeah, so I'll probably say Barrett wins.
All right. After that, I'm not sure if this list here is in order or not, but we'll just go down the list. Cena versus Owens, non-title match. What do you think?
I want Owens. I think Cena.
I think they're going to continue to give Owens his push. So what I think is going to happen is Owens is going to lose, but by disqualification via hitting John Cena with the pop-up powerbomb outside the ring, possibly, and destroying him. So that way Kevin Owens stays strong, but Cena gets the win.
Yeah, like, I really want Owens to win this, but I just see Cena being, like, victorious. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't see him just keep taking the fall for these new guys. Like, he's putting on good matches with, like, NXT guys all around with his open challenge thing. But I don't see him being able to continue to lose to Owens in pay-per-view events.
If Cena does win cleanly, I think I wouldn't mind it because it's going to set up Cena Owens 3, which hopefully will have something better on the line, possibly a title. Maybe a stipulation of some sort.
Yeah, but I don't think the title will even ever come up until after the next NXT thing. I think that's, 4th of July, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're going to be doing, like, the Finn Balor versus Owens NXT title match.
Which Owens might lose the title there, which could set him open to winning the U.S. belt.
I'm expecting for Owens to lose the title, actually. It just makes sense because, like you said,
Yeah, I
it's the U.S.
agree.
title.
I don't know how he's going to lose it, though, without looking weak in some aspect. I don't know if he'll just sort of be like, fuck it, drop the title. Hey, guys, I'm going to the main roster. But that wouldn't make sense for, what he's done so far with the title.
I don't think he would look weak if he loses the title to Balor. Um, Balor is a very talented and very quick wrestler, which Owens has the moments of quickness. So you know what I'm saying? Like maybe they could have it to where it's a good fight and Balor wears him down just on energy alone. And also Balor's a very stiff wrestler. So he's able to make things look really painful. Like he's able to sell the fuck out of most anything.
What do you think about Samoa Joe turning heel, interfering, letting Balor get the win over Owens, and then that way Balor has someone to feud with? Because right now there's no really top level heels in NXT, are there? Besides Owens?
Um, I don't think you'll see a top level heel like Owens in NXT for the next 2 years. You know what I'm saying? Like Samoa Joe could be a good heel, but and whenever Owens did come to NXT, he was a face originally. So I mean, they could definitely do that swerve, but it just doesn't make sense because the second they do that, Samoa Joe's about to be going to the main roster as well at some point. So like it doesn't make sense for them to do that.
Yeah, I just don't see who's he gonna feud with. Besides Tyler Breeze, the only other heel, I think, that would be on that level.
And Tyler Breeze is definitely moving up. He just needs a better finisher.
Yeah, both his signature and his finisher seem weak.
So who's next on the card there?
Ziggler, Neville, Roman Reigns, Randy Orton, Kofi Kingston, Sheamus, and Kane for the Money in the Bank ladder match. I gotta say, ain't no way in hell Neville's winning. My pick, surprisingly, is gonna be Kofi Kingston, and I'll tell you why. They've been making a huge deal about all three of them. When he wins Money in the Bank, they all three get Money in the Bank. And it's so easy for Big E and Xavier to interfere in this match, lift him up. I feel like there's going to be Kofi's sort of knocked out, and then they come in, interfere, and they all win it together sort of deal. And then that also explains Kofi versus Brock Lesnar at the event in July. And I don't think they want to put it on Roman Reigns quite yet. We'll see, though.
I could see Roman Reigns getting it. I would really like to see Ziggler get it. I would really like to see that guy just move up in the company and get his fair shot.
Ziggler is definitely my top. Like, as a fan, I want Ziggler to win. Roman Reigns probably might get it if Kofi doesn't. Randy Orton's just sort of side picture. Sheamus, he's still in the Intercontinental title sort of level. Kane is just going to be there to ruin the match one way or another.
Yeah. I mean, really, like, Ziggler, like, after watching, like, old-ass episodes of Raw and just, like, random stuff on the WWE Network, he really just reminds me of Mr. Perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's like that guy that he could be a perfect heel or a perfect face, but either way, the crowd will get behind him.
Yeah, I agree.
And his moves, like Survivor Series, clearly showed us that he's capable. He's very capable to do whatever he wants, and he's good at it. But they just keep, like, they'll give him, like, that Survivor Series moment, and then they'll overshadow it with Sting. And then after that, he just kind of faded away in the background. And then he comes back, And now they have him in that story with Lana and Rusev.
which is just horrible in my opinion.
What's going to culminate out of that is going to be Lana coming out one day dressed as a swimsuit model with her hair down and an American accent. And she's going to be like, I was brainwashed. It's going to be pretty bad.
That's the whole purpose, I think, is to get her out of that. But I don't know what they're going to do with Rusev, because I feel like he needs that manager spot. But I don't know.
I think he needs a manager, and I think this would be a perfect time for let this story play out a little, but it'd be a perfect time to find another manager. But then again, like with Rusev, I wouldn't be surprised if 2 years down the road, the guy has an American accent, and the Rusev character never happened. You know,
I could see that as well.
It's just like they're just gonna be like, okay, well, we'll find something else for you.
After that, we got New Day, Big E and Xavier Woods versus the Primetime Players for the title. And this is interesting to me because I'm pretty sure Kofi and Big E were the champions, but they're just treating the New Day as anyone can have the title and win it or lose it because Xavier Woods is in the match.
Pretty much. Like that was something that's actually been bothering me whenever I see them, because Xavier Woods was not in that match, and he's the one that's carrying the belt with Kofi walking around without the belt.
Yeah. And they let all three of them into the pod for the Elimination Chamber.
Right.
They're treating them all as like there's three guys, but they're treating them as two. It's weird. I mean, it's good in some aspects, but it's I don't know.
With that one, I would like to see the Primetime Players get it, just to help out the tag team division. You know what I'm saying? Like that will just say, hey, we have another team here that's worth your time.
Yeah.
Because, Cesaro Kid, they're kind of out of it for a while. The Usos are out of it. So that leaves us with the Lucha Dragons, Ascension, and the Puerto Rican Matador guys.
Don't forget the new group, the Reapers.
Who's that?
Harper and what's his name?
Oh, Rowan.
Eric Rowan.
They actually gave him
they're going. Yeah, they're going by the Reapers now.
Oh, sweet.
And they're using the 3D as their finisher.
Nice. Yeah, I really have to finish that Raw.
Yeah, they're giving them a nice little push. They're just destroying everyone.
But see, what's going to happen with that is you're going to end up with the thing that happened at the end of last year and beginning of this year with Harper and Rowan being in all these title matches, never winning, but they're always going to put on the best match of the night. And
I really think they should have gave them the belt. The Usos and Harper and Rowan, they consistently were the best match, like 3 or 4 pay-per-views in a row. It was they should have gave them the title.
Yeah, and really, like Harper Rowan, it was Harper that was amazing. Rowan was just there to take the beating when needed.
Yeah, Harper is LeBron and Rowan is the rest of the Cavs.
Oh, pretty much, yeah.
And then, like you were saying, Kid's out. I've been hearing he's gonna be out for like a year. He's gotta get surgery.
Jesus, yeah. I mean, it was a spinal cord injury, from what I understand. Yeah. And that's nothing to play around with, as you can see with Daniel Bryan. So hopefully, he doesn't play it dumb like Daniel Bryan, and he gets the rehab needed. And
I'm sure he's already got signed up for surgery.
Oh, sure.
I don't understand why Bryan went that route. It's just it doesn't make sense.
Like I think he did get his surgery, but I think he didn't get all the surgeries he needed. You know what I'm saying? Like he got the main one, but he didn't continue with that process.
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
That's why I've never fully gotten behind Bryan, because since I've come back to watching wrestling, it's just been him making these decisions that have been ruining his career. So it's hard for me to get behind him.
Well, like, I could see that. Well, I've been watching it like a little longer than you have, like from like the recent stuff. So yeah, I could definitely see where you're coming from. Where you come in,
I
you're
mean,
like,
honestly, I've only seen a handful of matches because he's been injured the whole other time.
right. Or they'll put him in a really bad like ladders match, and you're like, that guy should not be in there.
Yeah, it's like, oh, yeah, we know you're injured, but how about let's put you in this most dangerous ladder match and see how you do. That didn't make any sense.
Yeah, that's just I don't know. So who do you have to pick for the tag team
I
title?
think New Day's gonna get it for sure. I think they're on a hot streak. They're up there with the top heels right now. Their heel turn has been amazing. They've really they went from being a group that no one cared about to a group that is pulling strong heat consistently now.
Which is really impressive. Like, it seems like that their group that actually saw what the fans were reacting to, and they're like, okay, well, let's sell this.
Yeah. I mean, they got some good veterans on their team. I mean, they've never been, heavyweight championship level, but together they've pulled something together. So we'll see how it goes. They have a nice mix of speed and strength on their team too, like Tyson Cesaro. Hopefully Cesaro gets his nice little singles push now.
Yeah.
He deserves it.
Oh, I just thought of, like, a Cesaro-Lesnar match down the road. Like,
That would be good.
like that would just be amazing if that would ever happen. Just take my money, WWE. Because, like seriously, like, Cesaro is, like, one of the few guys that... Because I know me and you, like, are often trying to figure out who's, like... It would be a good match against Lesnar. And I think Cesaro is actually that answer. Like, it would be a realistic match, especially if you go back and you look at Cesaro's history, even back to, like, the NXT, like, best 2 out of 3 falls match with Sami Zayn. And then you fast forward to the Andre the Giant Memorial match where he picked up Big Show. You know, it's like the guy shows that he has the strength needed to go up against Lesnar.
Yeah, he showed he has the strength, and he's showed that he can have those fights with the other guys that are strong, like Big E. You know, them two have put on some good stuff together. So I fully think him versus Lesnar could be a great match.
Exactly. And now his most current run with Tyson Kidd, that has been nothing but amazing. Like,
They just had to give them a chance to actually show what they can do, and Tyson Kidd, like no other superstar in recent history, besides maybe Becky Lynch, which really went from me hating her to me loving her after that last NXT event. Tyson went from someone that was like, who is this guy? The fans are chanting for his wife, to a guy who proved himself and the fans love him, which is extremely hard to do.
it is. It really is. So, what's the next match here?
We got Ryback versus Big Show.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, hopefully he retires Big Show. That's the only good thing that could come from this match. Just fucking break his leg or something. I mean, it's sad to say that or wish that on someone, but for the well-being of the company, Big Show needs to go one way or another.
I think my prediction for that match is going to be called Piss Break.
Exactly.
Like, I don't even care who wins that. Like a lot of these other ones, like the R-Truth Barrett match, at least I could look at that and go, this could be interesting.
Well, you might want to save your piss break for the next match, which is Nikki Bella versus Paige.
See, as much as if we get lucky, these matches are together, like back to back, and now you get that nice piss and shit break. but
Exactly.
But really, like,
take a shower, be like, okay, what's going on now?
But what's really sad about this is I'm more interested in Nikki versus Paige than Ryback versus Big Show. Just because at least Nikki versus Paige will be a title match. I mean, it's the Divas title, which really doesn't mean much anymore, but...
Ryback's a title match. He's got the IC title now, remember?
Oh, God damn it.
That's how memorable Ryback is right there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the big guy. Like,
yeah, he hasn't proven himself to me yet.
It's going to take a lot for me to get behind the guy. And
supposedly a lot of people liked his promo with The Miz. I sort of phased out for it, so it wasn't too impressive to me. But a lot of people were saying he improved. He's getting a little more comfortable on the mic. Saved Miz a couple times, but I don't know. It wasn't enough to really get me into wanting to watch this match.
Yeah, and that doesn't really sell. Like, a guy on a mic, that's good. That's good. Like that's a very good thing. But if you're good on the mic and you're good in the ring, then I'm down for the fight. But for Ryback, he's one of those guys that's just... He's Goldberg. You know what I'm saying? Like, he has like those like 2 or 3 moves. And the guy chants with his own chant. You know, it's like New Day, like they have like that New Day rocks chant, and they chant that, and the crowd says New Day sucks, and you get like that weird counterbalance of, you know, we're heels and you guys hate us.
Yeah.
Where Ryback, he chants the "Feed Me More" chant, and it's just awkward to me every time he does it. Like I don't know. So let's let Big Show win this one.
Win the IC title?
Yeah. Because then what's going to happen is that could set up another good 6 months of Big Show Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns might become a champion.
Okay. Big Show versus Roman Reigns, just what we need. So the last match of the night will be Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose for the championship ladder match. Looking forward to this match.
Yes and no. I really am in one way. I think it has a lot of potential.
Yeah.
Because Rollins does do a lot of cool like spots. And Ambrose, I think, does a lot of cool spots. And I just have a feeling, what I'm really hoping for is that this is the match that when people look back at this era of wrestling, they'll think of this rivalry. You know what I'm saying? Like,
all their matches have been great. I mean, the Hell in a Cell match was it would have saved the pay-per-view if they would have gave it a proper ending. But their matches have been great. Everything I've seen from them so far, and I'm curious to see how this whole Seth Rollins wanting to be on his own sort of thing is going to play out. I don't know if the Authority is going to save him in this one. I don't know if Dean Ambrose just going to get the title or what. So I'm curious to see how they play this one out.
I think it'll be good. I think this will be good. Like, it's something different because we've been seeing Seth Rollins pretty much coddled like a baby for how long now?
Yeah, I mean, the weak heel has been great in some aspects, but it's old now.
Agreed.
We need someone believable to go up against Brock Lesnar. And right now, there's no one. Brock Lesnar could kill Seth Rollins and J&J in a handicap match, it would be completely believable. So we need someone. I don't know if the answer is Dean Ambrose, but we need someone that's going to go up against Brock Lesnar and, you know, have a chance of beating him.
Oh, definitely. And I
think straight up Dean Ambrose versus Lesnar is not believable, but Dean Ambrose versus Brock Lesnar in a Hell in a Cell or something where Dean Ambrose can bring out the weapons, that might be believable.
And that could work. You know what I'm saying? Like Ambrose could do good against Lesnar. I think Rollins could do good against Lesnar in a cage match type setting. somewhere that gives him the chance to show off his high-flying flippy shit. But
Yeah.
that's really about the only scenario I would see that working for Rollins at this moment in his career. Now, that could definitely change in the next year, 2 years, depending on how they build him and if he keeps this momentum that he has going behind him. Which, really, I think that match will be sort of what says if it keeps that momentum.
A lot of people are pulling for a Reigns heel turn this pay-per-view, which could be possible if he gets the Money in the Bank briefcase. And they're saying that there's a possibility that Rollins and Ambrose are going to get together after Reigns turns on him. But it's going to be complicated however they do it. I think it's just going to be they're going to put the briefcase on someone like Kofi Kingston, like I said, where it doesn't really matter. He's going to lose the briefcase or he's going to turn it in unsuccessfully, and then that way they can keep Roman Reigns doing his thing. But we'll have to watch and see.
Yeah, so for that one, I'll go with Ambrose.
I'm gonna go Ambrose too. I think after the pop he got from winning last time, I think they're gonna give him the belt for a little bit, and then that way they can keep Lesnar heel and have the face versus heel and Dean Ambrose versus Lesnar. Although Lesnar is sort of face because he's just so badass. People love him. So I could see Seth Rollins versus Lesnar as well, and that wouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, so I don't know. This could be actually a decent pay-per-view.
I see three matches that could be potentially great. One that could be good, and then 3 that are probably gonna be bad. But if you walk away from a pay-per-view with one great match, it was worth watching, in my opinion.
And I just have this weird feeling that even though we totally made fun of the Divas fight, that could actually be something. You know what I'm saying? Like, Total Divas is coming out next month. They're going to try to get the energy into that. And
Yeah, Nikki, I think, does want to prove herself, and I don't know if she can. We'll have to wait and see. Paige definitely has proven herself. She's a good wrestler. I think one-on-one helps because when it's a triple threat, they botched everything. They just were not prepared for it. So one-on-one, Nikki Paige has potential to be an okay match.
And who do you think is going to have the botch of the night?
My mind instantly goes to Ryback. I feel like he's gonna pick up Big Show and he's gonna fucking drop him on his head or something. I don't know.
I actually think it's going to be Ryback or Big Show. like that's like the instant who I thought would go with that one.
Honestly, it's probably gonna be a 3-minute fight. Ryback's gonna do a couple moves. Big Show's gonna do a couple moves, and he's gonna pick up Big Show, do his move, and be done. Because I don't see Ryback and Big Show having any technical moves at all to drag this match out. It's just going to be all power moves and be done real fast, probably. But power moves are where you can botch and get hurt, so we'll see.
Oh, I agree. It's going to be an interesting one, I guess.
All right, so that's Money in the Bank, Sunday on the network.
Which I will not be watching live because, NBA Finals and Game of Thrones after that on my DVR.
Well, it's a good thing about the network. Anytime, any place. Only $9.99.
Or free if you are a new subscriber. All right, so on the network, we watched a plethora of things. Actually, do you want to get in some news first?
Sure.
All right. Let's build up the news. So there's rumors that WWE is planning to buy Evolve Wrestling.
Yeah, I saw that.
And that's pretty interesting. Because
from what I hear, it's going to be a developmental for their developmental.
Exactly.
If that makes sense.
Have you heard the rumors of why they're going to do this?
Not exactly why.
Okay, so Kevin Owens was once a wrestler named Kevin Steen. Kevin Steen was a champion for ROH, and ROH has a contract with a toy company. Well, Kevin Steen is about to have a toy come out. So,
Okay.
because of that, WWE is sort of mad, according to the online dirt sheets. Because that means that someone else has a wrestler's likeness that they own, quote unquote. So I think the idea behind this is if they get guys that go through the Evolve Indie system, and I think
They'll have the rights from day one.
Exactly. So this could all be over a toy.
I did hear something about that, but I didn't put the pieces together.
Yeah, and
I heard that they're not going to be pulling people from Ring of Honor anymore because of that.
Yeah, now this is the other interesting thing that they're looking at. World Wrestling Network, which is the parent company of Evolve, Full Impact Pro, and Shine, they just opened a training facility in Florida.
Yeah, I saw that as well, and WWE's training facilities in Florida right there too.
Exactly. So now we could have quote unquote real indie wrestling from WWE. And what this can also do, well, there's like a lot of like great things that can come out of this and a lot of bad things. But some of the great things that can come out of this is we get more people like Blue Pants, because Leva Bates is actually from Shine Wrestling and other indies. So, you have a chance that she, like, more people like her show up and work as jobbers on NXT programming. You know what I'm saying? Like, just throw a guy out there against, or throw a girl out there against Dana Brooke.
Well, this opens it up to Blue Pants could have a permanent job in Evolve or whatever they call it once they get it.
Right. And let her get up her skills, which shouldn't take too much longer. And in theory, they're all going to be trained the WWE way.
Yeah.
So
and then they got T-shirts and all that jazz from day one.
Yeah, so this is really a win-win for them.
And I'm sure they're going to be paying these people in Evolve pretty much fucking peanuts, considering they don't pay NXT people anything. So that opens up a lot of room to, they can just pretty much buy out the business. Anyone they want, they can give a shot in that Evolve or whatever they're going to call it.
Yeah, and what could also be cool for the network is if they're able to get this contract signed, if this is a real thing at all, and if they're able to get this contract signed, I wonder if they're only going after Evolve or if they're going after all of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they're going to go after Full Impact.
TNA's going to be gone. They're going to pick the bones of that. So it's just going to be WWE, Ring of Honor, and Lucha.
Right. But what I'm saying is, like I wonder if they're just going to buy Evolve from this company, or if they're just going to do like a total, we buy the whole company. And with that, we might be able to get some of those indie Shine DVDs on there and the Evolve DVDs and the Full Impact Pro DVDs on the network. You know what I'm saying? Because they want to show off this thing that they just bought. Well, you would think they would. So, I like, that's actually kind of a cool thing, because I would not mind watching some of that stuff. Like, I would.
Yeah, I could see this being really good in the future. A lot of cross promotion between Evolve and NXT, sort of how NXT's been doing that in the main roster.
Right. So this is sort of going to be like ECW back in the 90s.
Yeah.
So, and more things in the news. Dusty Rhodes passed away today.
I saw. It's a shame. Guy was a legend.
He really was. Uh, well, I'll just talk about like American Dream in this as well, like his like little thing on the network on the Beyond the Mat section. But like, I always understood like how good of a promo the guy was. I understood how good he was in the ring. And I always sort of understood, like this guy knows the business in and out. Like he's someone that you want in your corner if you're a wrestling promotion. It's
Yeah.
like he knows what he's doing. And American Dream definitely focused on that part. Like he pretty much made, well, I'm not going to say he made it, but like he helped create like the Florida wrestling bookings. So like he would go to like one place and they would always like give these guys their money on time and stuff. And the places that he would rent out, like these halls, they would be getting their money. So of course that guy is going to call another guy that he knows that owns another hall and is like, yeah, wrestlers are good people, let them in. And by doing that, like Dusty Rhodes used to just tour Florida on a wrestling circuit that he pretty much created. And it's really interesting just to see like how much history he actually did have back in the regional days of wrestling.
Dusty Rhodes pretty much was huge. He was huge. He was one of the best. Without him, we wouldn't have Stone Cold Steve Austin. We wouldn't have a lot of these people. WWE might not have won without Dusty Rhodes, and I'll explain that because Dusty Rhodes gave Heyman his start in the business, his true start. And then Heyman pulled Stone Cold from WCW into ECW when he was floundering and gave him that chance in ECW to build up his skills, his promo skills, and then from there he went to WWE and became the Stone Cold we know. So that chain of events, and I'm sure there's hundreds of other scenarios like that where Dusty Rhodes just influences like the company and everyone involved in it in so many ways.
Tonight, NXT was in Pittsburgh, and we're going to be seeing them in Cleveland tomorrow.
Yeah.
Kevin Owens, on his shirt, he was wearing the new block letter KO shirt, but he had polka dots in the KO as his like one of his tributes to Dusty Rhodes. So I thought that was really cool. So we might be seeing that shirt tomorrow. But he wrote a Twitter blog post type thing. I guess it's a Twitter post or Twitter blog. I don't even know what the hell they call it. But he wrote it, and he's talking about how Dusty Rhodes kind of coached him since he's come to the WWE. And how he's always been there for him. And that kind of thing. It's like this like really heartfelt thing. And it was odd because Kevin Owens is one of the few guys that remains in kayfabe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like in my head, he's that guy who he sells what he is on a promo. He backs it up by a match, and then he'll do another promo, and then he'll go on Twitter and he'll do something as innocent as showing his son with the NXT Championship belt. But at the same time, that just helps like cement the heel side of this guy. It's like
everything I've seen on Twitter from him has been gold.
Yeah, and but this whole thing was like a very heartfelt, not that Kevin Owens, but a sincere, I'm gonna miss this guy. He was my friend. Sami Zayn, he also wrote one, which was a little more touching because he's also worked with Dusty Rhodes a lot longer. So he had like a little more stories and he went into more details about Dusty Rhodes. And that was just funny. Like some of it like I was like laughing at, but you could tell like, this guy, he lost a friend. And Sami Zayn was saying that he's seen Dusty Rhodes like every day for the past couple weeks at the Performance Center because he's, working on his shoulder. so he just sees Dusty Rhodes all the time. So,
Did they say how he what caused it?
not officially.
I heard that it was a complication from a fall, but who knows if that's true or not.
Yeah, apparently he fell and his kidneys failed, like he had kidney failure. So I'm not sure if that's what caused the fall or if his fall like hit the kidneys in some weird way, possibly.
Oh yeah, it could be either way.
But like, and that's all just Wrestling Dirt Sheet's website.
Yeah, in the end, it doesn't matter. I mean, the true legend passed away.
Yeah. One of my Facebook friends, Felonious Punk, he posted something like, because he was posting like Dusty Rhodes stuff pretty heavily there for like a nice like hour, I would say, maybe longer. And one of his posts was, to all my non-wrestling friends, I'm sorry, but John Lennon died today. And that was a pretty like strong comparison, but it made sense. I was like, okay. Yeah, this guy was that important to wrestling. Okay, I'll give it to you.
It'd be pretty hard to think of anyone besides like Vince McMahon that's more important to the business.
Yeah. Yeah, like, I'm trying to think of other guys that are that important. Patterson?
Yeah, I don't even know.
Yeah, I think like out of like that era, Pat Patterson, Billy Graham. But the thing with Billy Graham is he kind of got out of it. You know what I'm saying? So like,
Yeah,
Flair.
and Flair just is Flair.
Yeah.
He doesn't. I don't see him mentoring too much. He just sort of having fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like on the mentoring level, it would be Patterson. And maybe Ricky Steamboat.
Yeah, Steamboat. He's a trainer for NXT, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, like really that's about the list that I could come up with of like guys that know the business inside and out. Roddy Piper, but he doesn't really like work with WWE or do anything.
Yeah, he's off doing his own thing.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was crazy. Like on my Facebook feed, granted, like I do follow like a lot of wrestling stuff, but I was scrolling and I had my feed set up in newest posts, not the most popular ones. Newest post from top, and I would just scroll. It was Dusty Rhodes, Dusty Rhodes, Dusty Rhodes, Dusty Rhodes, and then a Tyler Swift picture or something, and then Dusty Rhodes, Dusty Rhodes, Dusty Rhodes, Dusty Rhodes, and it was just crazy. Like I was like, I have not seen my Facebook feed with that much wrestling, let alone one person ever. Like not even Ultimate Warrior.
What's the saying? Celebrities die in three.
Yeah.
We got Dusty Rhodes, Christopher Lee,
and Ornette Coleman.
Who?
Ornette Coleman. He was a jazz player.
Okay.
Yeah, they all died today.
Man, all on the same day.
Yep. Yes.
How was the American Dream, the show on the network, though? What would you rate it?
I've seen better, but I would probably give it like between a 0 to 6. I'd probably put it up there like maybe 4.5, 5, because I feel like that they did show stuff that I really had no idea ever happened. Just like stuff like between him and his son Dustin, or Gold Dust, and stuff like that, and that was really interesting, and it showed amazing wrestling history, which I'm all about. And it showed some like cool like match highlights, and they definitely talked about Sapphire, which was excellent. And there was a whole bunch of people that were just like the polka dots were a rib. Like I don't think he was supposed to get it over, and Dusty Rhodes owned it. Yeah, because like the whole thing was like he's the common man, and he's doing all these things for like the common man. He's a pizza delivery guy. He's a gas station guy. He's a butcher. He's like working like all these like blue collar or lower jobs. All these like little shorts that they made. And then Vince is like, polka dots. and he sold it. He sold the hell out of it.
And do you know who? I mean, obviously, he's nowhere near what Dusty Rhodes was, but when I think of that, I think of Sandow. Really, the guy puts everything over, and the crowd loves him. And I mean, he could be big in this company, and if they give him a chance.
And you know who else does that? Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, he does.
Cody Rhodes has been given so many bad gimmicks, and he takes them, and I feel like he takes them with stride. He's just like, all right, I'll be this guy that thinks I'm perfect, that I'm like the perfect human specimen. And it's funny because him and Sandow were actually a tag team during that era, and they made it work. And then they took that away from him, and they just kept changing his gimmick. And now he's Stardust, which is awkward, but it sort of works for him.
I mean, I'd hate to see that gimmick go away forever, because when Goldust was fully retired, it's gone. And I've always loved that gimmick since I was a kid. It was just unique. But I would prefer Cody Rhodes get a decent chance, a good gimmick, and get a good push.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like I would like to see Cody Rhodes get that push that he deserves. Like, actually, a Sandow versus Cody Rhodes feud would be amazing.
Well, we're going to have to wait because we got Stardust versus Green Arrow coming up.
Yeah.
Which is going to be amazing. That's sarcasm, by the way.
Well, he is a real wrestling fan, though.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. It could... hopefully it's just a quick little, hey, this is fun sort of thing. Hopefully they don't drag it out too much.
Yeah. I mean, it could be really good, though. I mean, you never know.
But,
so, I'll say hopeful for that.
Yeah. But like I was saying about, Austin and Heyman, I did watch the Austin podcast with Heyman.
Mm-hmm.
And it was pretty good. If you haven't heard about Austin and Heyman's relationship before, how they met, how they worked together in the past. Heyman was in WCW, and then he created ECW, and brought Austin into ECW. I believe he had an injury, so all he could really do at the time was cut promos. So they really built their relationship there, and then so it's really good. So I love to watch stuff like this to get the history and the background of wrestling.
Yeah. What's interesting is that's not the first podcast that Heyman has done with Stone Cold. If you go back and you find his like audio podcast, I can't remember the name of it. It's probably the Stone Cold podcast. If you go back and you listen, like you go back in like the old shows, you'll see like there's maybe 2 or 3 other Heyman episodes.
Yeah.
And they're all good. All of them.
Heyman has a way with words. He takes something that can be explained like, hey, this is the color blue. And he turns it into 5 minutes of an amazing explanation of, hey, this is the color blue. And he really shows that in this interview. At points, it gets to the point where you're like, you're annoyed by it, but that's what he wants from you. You know what I mean? He's the perfect heel manager right now. Besides that, they talked about Austin really he was really upset about the business, how they're selling moves and finishers, which it didn't seem um it seemed weird that he would bring that up because he was talking about the DDT and Jake the Snake Roberts. He used to always do the DDT, and now no one sells it like they used to.
Right.
And I kept thinking, obviously no one's going to sell it like they used to because it's not what it used to be. It's not a finisher. It's no one's selling it because they don't have to sell it.
Right.
So,
because they were talking about who was the wrestler that just had a suplex as a finisher.
oh yeah, they did bring that up. I forget who it was though.
And
But
think about that. It's like you have a guy and his finisher is a suplex. Fast forward to WrestleMania 2015, and you have Brock Lesnar in the ring with Roman Reigns, and you could play a drinking game with how many suplexes there were.
Yeah. And Heyman explained it perfectly. It's whatever move they want to sell, they'll sell. Like the bro kick, like it's super protected, even though it's just a kick, and no one kicks out of that.
Right.
So I sort of didn't understand why he would feel so strong about that when obviously it's just, they're going to sell the moves they need to sell. But he did have a point how finishers nowadays are not as strong as they used to be. It used to be the finisher was the finisher. Now it's you always, like in a good match, you're always going to kick out one or two finishers.
Right.
Depending. So I agree with that. Finisher should be a finisher. That's the whole point of signatures. Is you do your signature to build up to the finisher. But I guess it is more. It does, give you that holy shit moment when they do kick out of a finisher. But it has to be done right, and it can't be done too often.
Yeah, I mean I don't know. Like I'm kind of like on the fence with that. It's like I like to see finishers go crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like I like to see just a good. He pulls out that move and the guy sells it. 1, 2, 3 matches over.
Yeah.
Especially if it's a clean one. Like that's amazing. But on the other side of that, I also like the drama of the unpredictability of that if that move is actually going to end the match.
Yeah.
Like I think the modern wrestling fan, like the modern WWE fan, doesn't have a lot to look forward to. And some of those clean finishing moves and match ending things, if it would just happen once, like if there was just like one guy that would do that, I think that guy would rise to the top because people would go, holy shit, you don't mess with that guy.
Yeah.
But I still, I don't know, like I've just been so used to seeing those 2 to 5 finishers in a match, and it does build good drama. Like you go back to Cena Punk or a lot of CM Punk matches, I think would happen in, and I mean it does build good drama and it makes those matches very memorable.
Yeah.
Because you look at it and go, man, that guy he got out of that move. Okay, he's just asking to be punished. Like you have like that different mentality than you did if you were watching 1980s wrestling, where I mean I don't know, 1980s wrestling is a completely different beast in its own.
Yeah.
So what else do you think about the Austin Heyman podcast interview?
Also, Heyman goes into detail about another story about Dusty Rhodes, about how he taught him a lesson on promos, and he just went into a good amount of time on what you need to do with promos, how he created how he does his promos. Overall, that whole section was pretty good. After that, they just bullshitted for a while. Told some stories about the road, which were pretty funny, interesting to listen to. And then they ended it with Heyman trying to rile up Stone Cold into a match with Lesnar at WrestleMania, which it worked. Stone Cold sort of got mad and was like, hell, I'll kick Lesnar's ass. But after the interview, Stone Cold posted that he didn't mean to get anyone's hopes up. The match is not going to happen.
Yeah, and that makes me sad. I marked out really hard whenever that happened. And keep in mind, I watched Raw that night. And Raw has been very rocky, to say the least. And I watched Raw, and it wasn't like one of the best episodes I've ever seen. And then I get that ending, and I'm just like, this is why I'm a wrestling fan again. Thank you. Like I got excited for something again. And that was...
I give it a 4.5 out of 6. So between good and great, I think it's definitely worth a watch.
Yeah, I watched a show called the WWE List. It premiered this week after Raw. It's a nice half-hour show. And this episode was the trendiest divas. It was the first episode.
It doesn't sound like it would be too good. What did you think?
Okay, well, let me first start off with I press play on the WWE Network, and the very first thing I see and hear is that stupid music they have, and the rating comes up and it says TV PG. That's a very strong, questionable TV PG. I would say this is closer to TV 14.
When I watch Total Divas, it's TV PG, I believe, as well. And you can ask my wife, how many times did I tell her, is this rated PG? How is this PG? Because they say some crazy shit. Like, I believe there was an episode where Rosa Mendez was shaving her cooch and all kinds of stuff. And it's PG. It doesn't make sense.
Oh, yeah. So, at the beginning of it, it's just kind of like a little clip show type. Well, I mean, it's a list type show, obviously. It's just a bunch of clips. But at the beginning, they were kind of defining like what a diva is. And they showed a clip of Eva Marie. And she had a resting bitch face / I don't want to be here face. And she's trying to talk about how much, diva wrestling is great. And I didn't buy it. Like, I was just like, why even have her on here? Just, no, like, she's not needed for the show. Alexa Bliss was there, which is good. I'm a big Alexa Bliss fan from NXT. So I was happy to hear her talk. And then Summer Rae starts talking about bra and panty matches. She's like, well, today's divas are about the same, but we don't have to do bra and panty matches. And then they showed a clip of Summer Rae walking into a ring, and I was thinking that's because you're already in bra and panties. Like, they don't have to do that anymore because your outfit is now literally just a bra and panty.
Yeah.
It's like, would I like to see another bra and panty match? 16-year-old me says yes. But like that's about as far as that goes. And then I see these girls walk out already in bra and panties. Like it's useless. Like there's no point to it.
Yeah.
So, and the way how the show is set up is they have like little circles on the left-hand side of the screen. So you know what segments are coming up. I didn't write down the names of these segments because they're whatever. It was just...
So was it a 10, 9, 8 down to the top diva, or was it just sort of, hey, these are trendy divas?
It was, hey, these are trendy divas. So like,
okay.
Like one I think said the sharpshooter, and then another said the slap. Another said I forgot. Oh, thank you, AJ. Obviously, that one would be about AJ Lee. The sharpshooter one was about Natalia, and the show. Before I go on even further into this downward spiral of what the hell did I just watch, this show is very much like a show that you would expect to see on E or VH1. Yeah. It's very glossy, very overproduced. And I thought it was interesting that they picked Divas as the first one when they could have probably held out a while till next month and show it, and then Total Divas comes on the next day and people get excited about it. So they probably even lost, advertisement time that on their own channel for one of their own shows.
Yeah.
So Nikki Bella is talking about Natalia. And I shit you not, Nikki actually talks about how she sometimes gets turned on in matches with Natty because she hits real hard. Okay, so
wow,
this is about the third time in my head, and this is only the first 5 minutes of the show, if that I'm going, this is TV PG. I actually stopped the show, restarted it, to check to see if it was TV PG at that moment.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, they're going to talk about Bret Hart. They're going to talk about how much Nettie talks about how she's related to Bret Hart, which if I was her, I would. I think Brie Bella said, if I was her, I would. So that's kind of cool. Like, you see some cool moves with Natty, and I'm really hoping that segment builds into Natty coming back to wrestling. Because she's only been that manager for Tyson Kidd. Well, that valet, not even a manager. So,
yeah, now that Tyson's out, that leaves her open to another push.
Exactly. So that's something to look forward to.
Yeah.
The next segment was Lana. And this whole segment was very mixed. It starts off with them talking about her body and her nice curves. And then it starts talking about her and Rusev, which was about a month late. But then they start dropping seeds for Lana's future, where some of them are like, I wouldn't be surprised to see her in the ring one day. So I thought it was really weird. It's like they were talking about the past as if it was present, and then they were talking about her future, as if this really could happen. Like, she really could be a wrestler.
WWE hates managers now for some reason. So I could fully see them, teaching her how to wrestle and getting her in the ring.
Yeah, it was really weird, but I was sort of excited about it, because that's when I started thinking maybe they're going to use these shows as a way to build characters. If you were one of those fans that watched the WWE List Trendiest Divas 6 months later, you're like, oh, I knew this was coming, but the average WWE fan won't remember what happened 2 months later. I mean, if you want to be honest about it.
Well, that's why the slow burn is dead.
Yeah. The next diva was Santina, which was Santino in drag. Which
okay.
And they actually had a new interview with Jerry Lawler where he talked about puppies while referring to Santina. Very awkward. And once again, you have to question that PG thing.
Wow.
The next one was AJ. And all that was just a whole section that talked about how crazy she was. That was it. They would just talk about how crazy she was. They would talk about...
WWE loves to reuse footage.
Oh yeah.
So I would not be surprised if this and half of the stuff that is shown on the WWE list in the future turns into an episode of WWE Countdown.
Or if it's taken from Countdown already.
Yeah.
Like Santina was on Countdown, if I'm correct.
I'm sure some of that footage was on Countdown, if not the entire list.
And then the next section was the Bella Twins.
Gotta save the best for last, right?
Yeah. Alexa Bliss is talking about how she wants to be a Bella Twin. And all I could think about is, no, you don't want to be a Bella Twin. You can wrestle. It's like you don't want to do that. But you do want to make that money. But you don't be a Bella Twin. They did talk about twin magic and how that can only be done with twins. And instantly all I could think about was twins and black guys. The way how...
Yeah.
It's like
or
poor New
basically
Day.
anyone that looks sort of the same.
Exactly.
I guess.
And then a huge segment about Nikki's boobs. They were like, the Bella Twins were identical, but then something happened and there's two huge differences. And I was like, oh my god. Like the screen actually was just like focused on Nikki Bella's boob job. And once again, I'm thinking to myself, this is PG. All right. Well,
Okay,
I'll take it.
So it's fine to teach little girls that you need to get breast enhancement, but it's not fine to teach little boys, hey, be badass, drink beer, and do a Stone Cold Stunner.
Right. And not only that, they also talked about Brie mode for a second. And you watch Total Divas, so you know what Brie mode really is. And they're like selling this shit to little girls. And all I could think about is, great, so now you're going to get a girl that walks around in her bra and panties, gets super drunk, and just going to yell out their name and mode when they're like,
yes,
when they're 17.
Stone Cold taught the boys to drink responsibly. You know, never get so wasted that you can't kick ass. Whereas Brie mode is get completely wasted and fall on your face drunk and throw up on your sister's tits.
Which, by the way, is still one of the best things I've ever seen on Total Divas. Ever.
I really want to know if that was planned or what. I have a feeling they might have put some, like, clean chicken soup in her mouth so that, you know, Nikki was like, oh, it's puke, when it really was just whatever. But who knows with that show.
Right. And then, the Bella Twins were the last of the trendiest divas. However, Stephanie McMahon got a mention.
Of course.
And that was kind of sweet because all it was a slap compilation. And I was honestly, between that and the Natalia thing, that was the only thing that made it worth it. Was just watching Stephanie McMahon just slap people. I was like, I could watch this. Like, I could just watch like that clip over and over again because it was kind of funny.
Yeah.
You know, like you would hear like her do a promo and she's just slapping guys. And I was like, all right, this is good. I was like, this is doable.
So, what do you give it?
Jesus. I mean, I rate it with
on a
the
scale of
top,
garbage to
I rate
perfect.
it with the top quality of VH1 and E, so it's probably like a 2.
2?
Yeah, and it's one of those things that I'll continue to watch because it's mind-numbing and completely useless. Sort of like Total Divas. And I'm assuming that the next list will be not divas. I'm assuming it'll be like John Cena's greatest hits or something like that.
Probably.
So
Probably.
That'll be sweet.
So you said you didn't watch NXT?
No, I haven't watched NXT yet. I'll be doing that tomorrow morning.
Okay. Well, I'll try not to spoil it too much, but surprisingly, it's not real. How do I put it? NXT spoils it for you because every single match is 100% predictable. They're all squash matches. Zack Ryder and Mojo versus a no-name team. Obviously, Zack Ryder and Mojo's gonna win. Blue Pants versus Emma. Blue Pants is Jobber 2.0. So I mean, it was great to see her out there. She's good, great with the crowd. But obviously, they just let Emma destroy her, use her new submission hold. Enzo Cash promo, which saved the show up until that point. They are their mic skills are second to none right now. I really don't see another wrestler doing what they're doing, except Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens for sure.
I can just imagine the amount of hours that Enzo spent with Dusty Rhodes at that performance center and just perfecting it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could just see Enzo just working this really hard and being like, I'm going to be the best at this.
I feel like most of his stuff is still sort of prepared in advance, so I don't know if he can do it on the spot, but it doesn't really matter the way it's set up now. But him and Big Cass do a really good job on the mic. Tyler Breeze versus Bull Dempsey, which
Jesus.
is Tyler Breeze wins fucking pretty much every match unless it's against Finn Balor or Hideo, which I'm gonna miss Hideo on NXT for a while. Becky Lynch versus Jessie, some new random female wrestler. Becky Lynch destroyed her. Corbin destroyed some random guy. And Samoa Joe destroyed some random guy. And I'm surprised that this match Samoa Joe had, I thought it was going to be, bell rings, Samoa Joe just destroys him for the whole match, right? Which would make sense because you need to make him look strong. Well, the first quarter of this match was this other guy just beating up on Samoa Joe. I'm like, how is this making him look strong? And then, I don't know, overall the match wasn't great. Samoa Joe obviously wins in the end, does his finisher. Kevin Owens was on the announce team, and that was entertaining. Besides that, overall, the entire card was predictable, and there weren't too many great matches. The thing that saved the show, though, and the reason why I'm giving it a 4.0 is the Enzo Cass promo, Kevin Owens on the mic, who was amazing. And that's about it. Regal did have a promo as well with Bull Dempsey. It looks like they're changing his character, which I think is needed. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, it was good overall. 4.0, worth a watch. Kevin Owens had some really funny shit on the mic. Have you seen Becky Lynch's new shirt?
Oh, no, not yet.
It says Last Kicker.
Okay.
Which it was on the store, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they had to take it down because what man is gonna wear a shirt that says Last Kicker that basically says I beat women?
I'd wear it.
So they took it down and they replaced it. Now it's the same thing, but under Last Kicker it says Becky Lynch. So.
Oh, good. So now you're a guy that's going to kick Becky Lynch's ass. Great.
Yeah. So yeah, other than that, the only thing that really bugged me about this was the god-awful Money in the Bank promo music. It's like Shane McMahon's music, but 10 times worse. Have you heard it?
I don't think I have. Like, I tuned it out.
It's just someone saying money, 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 but there's no real rhythm. It sounds horrible. They need to get rid of it.
God, I can't wait. Yes, that's something to look forward to in the morning.
Yeah, but you could see Blue Pants at least. She's pretty funny until she gets her ass beat, and then yeah, you'll see. It's
I'll probably be that Mark tomorrow at the NXT show wearing a blue pants shirt. Actually,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I need to get me a hold of a shirt. I don't know who I want to get. Enzo and Big Cass, I love them, and I would love to get one of their shirts, but their shirts just don't fit me, like style wise.
Mhm.
Kevin Owens is probably where I'm gonna go. His shirts are. He has the best shirts for someone who doesn't want to be walking around town, telling the world, "Hey, I'm a wrestling fan." It's just a cool shirt.
Right, like that's sort of why I like the soft shirt from Enzo and Cass because, yeah, like the back of it says Enzo and Cass, but no one knows what soft is, so they just
Yeah.
look at you and go, "That's just a weird shirt." Like
Yeah.
it's just like one of those like, okay, whatever. Unlike my Finn Balor shirt, which is pretty much like, yeah, I'm a wrestling fan. But I get like random compliments like out in public wearing that shirt.
Yeah.
I was at the grocery store and some employee, like as I was walking by, was just like, "I like your shirt." I was like, "Thanks." Like I never saw who it was, but I was like, "That's random." And it was also a girl, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's just they need to do better on their shirts, I think, for the most part. But if it's like a wrestler I like, I'll still buy the shirt. But
Yeah, it depends. I personally like shirts that aren't too because you know how WWE loves to push their logo. So that's why I like Kevin Owens' shirt. It's not like it's not blatantly NXT pasted over it,
yeah.
So I don't know. I do like your blue pants shirt. It's just I don't like the color. I wish it had a different color. Um,
The CM Punk shirt I have is actually kind of sweet too, because people look at that first and they're just like, "Oh, you're a comic book nerd."
yeah.
So it's like, all right, that works. Like I'm not a Thor fan at all, but I like CM Punk, so that's cool.
Yeah, I like that shirt too. It's just I don't like I wouldn't be able to wear the sleeves like that.
They're really not that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like one of the concerns I had, and I was like, this is actually kind of comfortable.
Yeah, the CM Punk shirt I have is that's the only wrestling shirt I have at the moment. But tomorrow when we go to NXT, I might buy one. We'll see what they have.
Yeah, I'll probably pick one up.
But
Oh,
I'm really excited for NXT tomorrow. The main event in Pittsburgh, I think, was a four-way between Joe, Owens, Breeze, and Baylor.
wait. So Samoa Joe's gonna. There's a chance for Samoa Joe to be there tomorrow night.
Possibly, he was there at Pittsburgh.
Oh, no, that's cool. That'll mean that we'll see him next month and this month. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Nice. Because that AIW show is really exciting me. More and more.
Yeah, I've never been to like a house show like that, so I'm excited for it.
Yeah, and I also watched a show called Tuesday Night Titans on the network to kind of get back on track.
Yeah.
And I watched only about half of it. This thing's like 2.5, 3 hours long. And it's amazing. It's from, I think, maybe 84, 85. So it's like early mid 80s.
Yeah.
And it's set up like a late night talk show. Vince McMahon is like the host. I never caught his co-host's name, but he's some British guy. And this British guy just says the most off-the-wall things, but not at the same time. Like he censors himself a lot. And it's just weird. There was a section where they were reading like fan letters. And one of them was directed towards Vince. and it was like, have you ever been a wrestler? And you could tell by Vince's face that he was like, I fucking hate this question. I hate the person that wrote this. I hate the producer that got this into the show. Because his answer was, I'm too small to be a wrestler. And instantly, all I could think about was just his father just sitting down one day and telling him, like, you'll never be a wrestler. And like there was like a certain like resentment in Vince's answer. They also had, and their matches, they do have matches on this thing, and they're always like match in progress. So I have not yet seen like a full match on the Tuesday Night Titans.
I could see that being the case for Vince though, like his dad being like, "Oh, you'll never be a wrestler," and then Vince is like, "Fuck you, I'm gonna take steroids and beat the top face of the company."
Exactly. The first match I saw on this thing was Paul Orndorff versus Brian Blair, and Vince. This is funny too. Like the audio quality between the Vince announcing the match, or calling the match rather, to Vince the talk show host is a very different audio quality. Like the mixing was not perfect. So like Vince the commentator, like the audio level actually seemed to drop when I was watching it. You could still hear everything that Vince says. It was just a different quality. Where now if you watch like a WWE show, the like fucking Michael Cole is going to have the exact same level as Renee Young backstage, as Booker T, as the pre-show would have.
Because if WWE does anything, it's they know how to fucking use mics and turn up and down those levels.
Exactly. But during this era, they really didn't. And it was funny. Orndorff threw Brian Blair through the middle rope. Vince sells it. He's like, Blair was airborne. He was airborne. And he's just like yelling this. And I'm just like, if this happened in a modern day match, they would be like, he was thrown through the ropes. like end of story.
They need to get a new announce team. It's just Michael Cole's horrible.
And
there's no other way to describe it.
And here's the most interesting part about Vince doing the commentary was if I had no visual, if I was not watching the match, if for some weird reason wrestling was on the radio, I would know exactly what was happening in that match, thanks to Vince. And that's not a bad thing. It was actually kind of refreshing to hear all of these shots being called. Like every spot was called perfectly. And Vince had like another guy doing commentary, but even that guy would sell a move, or he would describe the move, and Vince would jump in and be like, "Oh, I can't believe he slapped him that hard," but like he would describe that slap. It's like he slapped him in the face 3 times. Oh, he's not going to take that. He pushes back, and it was just like really exciting. Now, and this match was really not great. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was not that good. But
whereas nowadays we got Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose is climbing the ladder, about to win the championship, and we got Michael Cole talking about, hey, Total Divas is on July 7th on the network.
Or we have Michael Cole talking about the pre-show match that happened 3 hours before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then JBL has some good moments. I mean, overall, he's not great, but he has some good moments. My issue with JBL is his flip-flopping. He's supposed to be the heel commentator, but one match he's talking about the heel being awesome. The next match he's talking about the heel being a horrible person and he just sucks. Like it doesn't make sense.
Right. And this is the other thing I noticed was Gene Okerlund was doing a promo with a wrestler named Dr. D. Dr. D is a huge heel. Vince built the setup to what was going on, and Gene Okerlund's backstage talking to Dr. D, and Okerlund can't say a word because Dr. D's yelling at him. He's pretty much saying, whatever wrestler wants to come out, I'll fight him, blah, blah, blah. But his intensity, and Okerlund is selling the fact that this guy, you cannot talk over. You have to, be quiet, and your face has to look kind of worried that you're in this room with this guy. As opposed to today where you go backstage and you see Renee Young and she just looks kind of confused whenever these guys walk away. She doesn't do a bad job, but compared to Okerlund, she is not.
Yeah.
And but this is what's funny about this. So, like, Vince sets up Dr. D on this promo. Dr. D does the promo, and then I want to say there's a quick match with Dr. D in it, and then you get more Dr. D at his house. There's a TV show called Peep Show on Hulu, okay. And I think it might be on Netflix too. And the whole thing is it's a first-person point of view TV show. So the camera is you. You are a character in this show. And that's what you were in this Dr. D vignette at his house. So, Dr. D is sitting there on his couch, and then the camera walks through the door, and he opens it for you. You walk in, and Dr. D starts talking to you, and there's this awkward silence because it's you, you're supposed to be there with him. And he'll talk and give you a time to say stuff. And then his wife sits down next to him, and he's all nice to her for a second. And then in the background, you hear his kids playing, and nothing too bad. And then just out of nowhere, he just starts yelling at his kids to shut up. I'm like, that's kind of weird, but I get it. He's supposed to be a heel. That's not horrible.
Yeah.
And his wife is sitting next to him. And he's like, what are you doing sitting next to me? You're supposed to be making dinner. I told you that.
Make me a sandwich, bitch.
Yeah, pretty much. He was like, I told you that I was having company over for dinner. And she's like, no, you didn't. He's like, yes, I did. Go make dinner. And he kicks his wife off the couch pretty much so she could go make this glorious dinner that he's talking about. And you finally get into the kitchen table. It's you and Dr. D, his wife, and his two kids. And the most awkward exchanges happen in this kitchen. And you're sitting there, and apparently what's for dinner is leftover chicken, leftover pizza, just a bunch of leftover food, and white bread out of the bag. And he starts throwing white bread at his sons. He starts throwing it on his wife's plate. He starts yelling at her because she didn't make a good dinner. And, this is, seriously, if this
So what was the whole point of this thing?
To show that he's not a bad guy. To show that he's able to control his anger and to show that he can, function.
But in reality, it made him look worse.
In reality, what happened is it made the guy look like he comes home and beats the fuck out of his wife and kids and is totally okay with it. And if that doesn't set in when you're watching this, you go back to the talk show and Vince is just flabbergasted, oh, that was horrible. Oh, that was horrible. He's trying to sell it. And Vince's sidekick is what I really feel bad for his wife and kids. I truly believe that he goes home and he treats his wife and kids like he treats any wrestler. And he has this reputation already from earlier that this guy just yells at people and just beats them up. and Vince's co-host just sits there and just talks and talks and talks about this horrible man who goes home and just yells and takes out all his anger on his wife and kids. It was amazing.
So they spent all this time building this guy up as a heel, whereas you get wrestlers nowadays who their only heel turn is, oh, he pulled the ropes when he was pinning him. And that's it.
Well, I mean,
no other explanation, just, oh, he cheats now.
but I mean, to be fair, domestic abuse cannot really be on wrestling.
Well, you don't need to do that, take it to that level. You just need to, they put some creativity. They used to do stuff like that all the time, and you rarely see anything like it anymore. Dean Ambrose is starting to do some stuff, and it's breathing a fresh breath of fresh air into the company, I think. I mean, not all of it's gone over as much as it would have in the past with like Austin, but they're trying, and I like where it's going.
Yeah, like I think it's going in the right direction with him. But sadly, that's pretty much all I've seen from Tuesday Night Titans. I do want to continue the show because it is amazing, and I definitely suggest anyone that's like a wrestling fan to
You want to give it a rating, or do you want to finish it before you put a solid number on there?
From what I've seen, I'll give it a tentative like 4.5, 5.
4.5.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll go 4.75.
Yeah, I mean, it's very tentative, but if they keep going with this direction, I think Tuesday Night Titans will definitely be like one of those like hidden gems on the network. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
Just the concept of Vince McMahon having a late night talk show it doesn't make sense. And his co-host doesn't make sense to have with Vince. And that promo they did with that Dr. D just completely blew my mind, and I was like, I'm sold. I need to see more of this bullshit.
I might have to give that one a watch as well.
Yeah, I mean,
I already spend pretty much 95% of my TV time watching WWE stuff anyway. Tough Enough is around the corner, so probably will be watching that as well.
Yeah, that's a thing next week, isn't it? Maybe
I think so.
It's either next week or the week after.
I guess Zack Ryder's buddy was in there, and he was first eliminated already.
Nice. And how does that happen? How do you have a show about these people being eliminated, and you're eliminating them all off camera?
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're going to be taking our votes once I think it's still sort of the preliminary stage. Once it gets down to like the final 16, I think they're going to take America's vote. We'll see how that goes. I'm sure it's all rigged, but
I'm sure.
We'll see how it goes.
But Daniel Bryan will be on TV, so that's good.
Yeah, get to see Daniel Bryan and some other. We could see Hulk Hogan go out and say "brother" 82 times.
Oh no, that's a drinking game. Every time Hulk Hogan says "brother," you drink.
Yeah.
And I think like we'll have to come up with some more like definitive rules. But I could definitely see me DVRing this shit. Like I'll watch it, but then I'll go back like on a Saturday and just get hammered watching it. Like maybe like have like a Chris Jericho thing, because I know he's going to do something repetitively.
Chris Jericho is the company's yes man when it comes to wrestlers.
Oh yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, like
I think he said he's going to have Bill DeMott on his show. Somebody said that. I think it was Chris Jericho.
How is that going to work?
I don't know. I don't want to say put out some wrong information. I know he's going to be on some podcast. I don't think it was Austin. I'm pretty sure it was Jericho.
That's just ridiculous.
Whatever podcast he's on, I probably want to give it a listen. See what his side of the story is, if they even talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't talk about it, then it's probably a waste of time.
And we also get some Lita on that show, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to have Lita though. And
she's sort of like in a different time, different era.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Well, I'm not worried about that really. But I look at Lita, and I know that they have Sarah Del Rey there. And she's the one that's actually training the NXT women's division.
Yeah.
And she's an accomplished, good wrestler. Wouldn't it make sense to have that trainer show up on your TV show once a week?
Well, nobody knows her as much as Lita.
Right, so...
they're going for the dollar bills, not the actual... They don't want to actually train these women. They just want them to show up in their bra and panties.
Yeah. Paige is also going to be there. So maybe if we could drink every time she says, it's my house...
I don't know. I heard she's not going to have that huge of a role. I'm not sure, though.
Like, wasn't she, like, a judge?
Which judges are not going to be on there, but, like, probably, like, the last 5 minutes or something, maybe.
Right. Which is more than enough time for her to say, it's my house. Plenty enough time.
Yeah.
Like I could see her, like, judging some poor girl, and she's like, yeah, I really like the way how you did that bridge move, but remember that this is my house, and you're going to have to do better.
You know what they need to do? They need to have a promo where she beats the shit out of Nikki Bella, drives her to her real house, and then says, this is my house, and then beats the shit out of her some more. Or I don't know, something. They could do a lot of things with a lot of these wrestlers that would just be awesome that they just don't do.
Take that idea and have her drive to John Cena's house. Have her
that would be amazing.
Have her beat
and
up
John Cena's just
there.
watching her beat the shit out of his girlfriend.
And then she's like, it's my house. And John Cena just looks confused. She's like, what the fuck just happened?
And then she says something about, hey, why don't you go pay your phone bill or something? So much potential. But WWE would never do that. That's way over their heads.
Oh, God. It's exciting, though. All the possibilities that never come to happen.
See, we're taking something like the Divas matches, which have been horrible, and coming up with ideas that could actually make it watchable. But WWE just doesn't do it. They don't care. Until Vince is gone, he just wants them to be eye candy, which doesn't even make sense because they're not really eye candy. It's hard to explain. How do you get attracted to a woman when they're just getting beat up? Like, it doesn't make sense. As a valet, I see how Lana can be that, eye candy, but as a wrestler, I don't know, it just doesn't connect with me.
What it is, I think, is you have these girls that come out in bikinis or bra and panties, and you have, like, your Paige. She comes out, she looks a little different, but but you already have her, like, halfway undressed. So she's like one of those girls that, if you were walking down the street, you'd be like, hey, she's cute. And now, like, they already took that, like, to the next level, going, I wonder what she looks like, in bra and panties. Oh, I know now.
Hey, I don't know. So, okay, let me throw this example out at you. Let's say Ronda Rousey. She's an attractive woman, I think. But when she's about to beat the shit out of someone, they're in their bra and panties pretty much in a UFC fight. I don't look at her in that moment and say, hey, it's in that moment, I'm not thinking, oh, she's a beautiful woman. I'm thinking she's about to beat this woman's ass. So it's whereas, the girl carrying the ring card, the round 1, round 2.
Right.
That's her job to be the eye candy, so I can connect that way with her, whereas it's just not the same thing for me. And I think it's just Vince, and he's just out of the times, and he thinks, just throw him out there, and that's all the men care about, which nowadays, at least for myself, I want to see a good match. Women can put on good matches, which has been shown week in and week out on NXT. So it's sad that if all they're doing is expecting men to watch these matches because they're in their bra and panties, it's sad.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, but I mean it's something that I think might change one day.
It could be any day now. All they need to do is bring Charlotte up, and have her destroy the competition, and then from there, if you want to beat Charlotte, you need to put on a good match, you know. And then they could bring up some more Sasha Banks down the road, and basically have the four horsewomen up in WWE. And that could really turn it around for them. But I don't think Vince is going to let that happen as long as he's in charge.
Yeah, and you said that Bailey was not on NXT this week, was she?
No, yeah, I didn't see her.
That's a shame. Like
She's growing on me.
Like I like Bailey. She's like one of the most over baby faces I've seen in a long time. Just across the board, men and women, like she's just like one of those people that fans connect with. Last time NXT came through Cleveland, Bailey came out, and there was some guy in the audience, or someone in the audience, that I guess before the show he was talking to one of the like announcer guys. That it's the guy that if you watched the last pre-show for the last NXT takeover, he was the guy that was outside with the fans that interviewed Stephanie McMahon for a second.
Yeah.
But I guess they were talking and that person was like, I really want a hug from Bailey. And whenever Bailey comes out before this fight, which was amazing, but before she gets into the ring, the guy actually mentions it and she goes over and she hugs this person. And I was like, that's really badass. Like, she did not have to do that. Like, she definitely made that person's night.
Yeah.
And I really think a person's going to be there tomorrow.
Yeah. NXT really has changed the face of female wrestling, because if you tell me to list my top 5 wrestlers or top 10 or whatever in WWE, the main roster, I would say probably all 10 are going to be male. You tell me to do that for NXT, 50% are going to be women, which is crazy.
It really is. And it's a shame because like Emma's in NXT again, and they really just screwed her over whenever she came up to the main roster. Like they put her with Santino, and it was a joke. I understand that the gimmick that she had was awkward, but she was like really over in NXT, so it made sense to keep that gimmick because why not? She went over here, why won't she go over here? And then they put her with Santino, so she never really had a fair chance. I think she was in a feud with Summer Rae and Fandango. So, yeah, like it was just bad.
That's the $1 million question: is what gimmick is going to work on the main roster that works on NXT? Because WWE likes to tweak it a little bit, but they usually keep it pretty much the same. But it's just amazing how something that works so well with a smaller crowd completely flops on a bigger crowd.
And, well, it's the smaller crowd is more hardcore wrestling fans. And when you go to a arena like Quicken Loans in Cleveland or Madison Square Garden, you're selling seats, and, like these places are not going to be filled with nothing but hardcore wrestling fans. They're going to be filled with your casual fans that just know of John Cena, maybe Roman Reigns, and Big Show.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, you got, like, that audience filling up an arena with maybe 15-25% of them being like actual like hardcore wrestling fans. And these are like the guys that go on Reddit Squared Circle. They're the ones that go to the indie promotions or watch NXT. They watch Lucha Underground, TNA, Ring of Honor. You know, like they know about like all these different wrestlers. And that's where like I think like your chance like John Cena sucks and you know like stuff like that.
Yeah. In order to get over on the main roster, it really has to be a simple gimmick that impresses people very quickly. Like Kevin Owens with his win against John Cena and the mic work, he's gonna be over as a heel huge. It's working. Whereas Neville I keep hearing people saying he doesn't have the right look. I can see that playing to some people. Me, it doesn't matter.
You mean his ears?
His ears.
And he's short.
Yeah. Which to me, some people were saying put a mask on him, he would have been a lot better, but I don't know. He's fine how it is. It's just his gimmick is he does these awesome top of the top rope moves, but beyond that, what is he really? You know?
Which really that's what he was in NXT, except you had the added of the NXT champion.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
He needs a personality. He needs something to connect, which he doesn't have. All he has is, hey, I do these cool moves, which the fans like, and they're not gonna boo him or anything. It's just that's it. Once the move's done, it's what are you now?
I think he's one of those guys that you'll see in the next year, 2 years. If he stays on the path that he's going and they actually give him room to breathe, you let the guy talk on a mic a little bit. Maybe not a lot, because I can't remember if he's actually good on a mic or not.
I mean, he's not bad from what I've seen, but he's not the greatest. See, in order to win that audience over when you go to the main roster, they got to put you on the mic. You can't just show up, win a match, and then leave. You know what I mean? You need a personality. You need an attachment. When Enzo and Big Cass go to the main roster, oh my God, are they gonna get over so fast? They're the new the new Road Dogg and Jesse James. It's gonna be awesome. I can't wait.
It is. I just hope that they don't fall into the same wrestling category as Road Dogg and Jesse. Well, Road Dogg and Jesse James is the same guy. New Age Outlaws.
New Age Outlaws.
I hope that they don't fall into that category of wrestling. Like Billy Gunn, he's a good wrestler. Jesse James, he doesn't do a lot. Like in your memory, you're like, oh, this guy is great because you think of his promos. You don't actually think about all of those really bad matches that he was in and somehow was still going over because of his association with DX and his promos.
Yeah, I mean, 50% of wrestling, though, is 50% is wrestling, 50% is entertainment. And if I can get my good matches with, Kevin Owens and Finn Balor and all them, and then get my entertainment from them, even if their matches are not great, then it rounds out the show and makes the whole show that much better. If they can, their wrestling has not been bad. He's improved so much. He sells moves like no one else. Only Ziggler probably is better than Enzo at selling at this moment. So I think they have a ton of potential to be like that perfect storm of, they have the skill on the mic and great wrestler as well.
Yeah, I mean, after good old DeMott left, like, you saw Enzo just pop up like out of nowhere.
Oh yeah, he improved so much so fast.
It was crazy. Like I was like, when did this happen? When, like, why? Like, I was happy to see it because it made no sense to me how this guy who his moves were okay, his mic skills were amazing, And then just out of nowhere, he comes out just filled with energy, like he just did 10 lines of coke. And I mean, really, like some of those entrances, he will like almost do like a weird like shuffle moonwalk running man thing on the apron, backwards and forwards, and then jump in the ring and continue this like weird thing. And
I
then,
could see little kids all across the country trying to do that move. He's just so likable.
and then you see him in a match, and Big Cass and Enzo have that great team finisher, where Big Cass just pretty much throws Enzo.
Yeah.
And it works. It really works for those guys. So I'm kind of excited to see what's in the future for them. Like really excited, actually.
Me too.
Because I don't know,
They'll probably be in NXT for a while still because they haven't even got the championship. I mean, they're in line for it, but I think they'll be around for NXT for a while. I think they just need to polish out their moves a little bit more, and then just continue building their confidence on the mic, and they're gonna be great one day.
Oh yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see what those guys come up with, and I like right now, like out of the current NXT roster, minus Sami Zayn and Hideo Itami or Kenta, like minus those guys, because they're injured. The only like other guys that we have left that I could be like excited to see now is Enzo, Cass, and I'm starting to really like Blake and Murphy as that heel team. Alexa Bliss kind of is the glue for them.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it's interesting to see those guys, because really they're nobodies. Like
They're starting to push the vaudevillains
again,
as well.
so
Yeah.
but I see Simon Gotch doing something. I don't see the other guy doing something.
Yeah.
And then after that, like I guess you have Finn Balor in singles, and that's really where it stops. Is like Finn Balor, and you could throw Tyler Breeze in that category, but I don't see him moving up anytime soon. So it's like I see Finn Balor and Kevin Owens being like the last NXT guys, because I don't really consider Samoa Joe NXT yet. Like, yeah, he's in the ring with them. That's great. But I see him more as I'm on NXT until my contract runs out in August, and then I'll be in main roster.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about Carmella? Because it's almost as if she's healed, but lately not so much. Have there ever been a heel manager with a face? I can't think of anyone off the top of my head.
Not to my knowledge, and I think the only reason why you get the heel vibe from her is because the crowd doesn't like her.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like she, like technically, if you think about it, she does the same stuff that Enzo and Cass does on a mic at a lower level, but she does the same stuff. Like she comes out and she does her little rap, as opposed to hearing Enzo and Cass come up with stuff that sounds like it could be made up on that very second that you're watching them.
Yeah.
So she does the same stuff in general.
And she had those matches against Blue Pants where everyone loved Blue Pants and wanted her to win. So
exactly, the way you sell Carmella as a face is you put her in a feud with Dana Brooke, because no one likes Dana Brooke, but you put her in a feud with Dana Brooke, or you put her in a feud with Eva Marie. If Eva Marie does have to wrestle, which apparently I guess she does, just so she can go cry later because people don't like her. But you put Carmella in those two matches on a constant basis, but not to the point where you get tired of seeing those two matches happen over and over again. You mix it up. You throw Carmella in a match, not against Bayley, or Becky Lynch, but you put her in a match against, I'm trying to think of a heel that is not Sasha Banks.
I haven't seen too much of Dana Brooke. It almost feels like she's got that X-Pac heat. Is there something about her besides what I've seen that, she's just a bad wrestler? I don't know.
She's a bodybuilder model.
And they're just giving her a push for no reason?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. What do you think of this idea? Because Carmella almost being heel with the faces made me think, well, what if they would have kept Lana face, or kept Lana heel, and now hear this out. So let's say Ziggler's in the match, right, and he's face, and he's doing his job, and Lana being heel though cheats for him, and then after the match he's like, no, don't do that, blah blah blah. But he's like, whatever, she's hot as hell, I'm gonna stay with her, sort of deal. And they do this week in, week out, and then eventually Ziggler's like, fuck it, let's turn heel and make this legit, and then he gets a good push.
I mean, it's a possibility.
They won't do it though.
No, I mean,
because they're turning her face right now. Yeah.
Right, and like I said earlier, she's gonna come out in a bikini, hair down, probably have a Florida accent. I expect that to happen within a year from now. So
I wouldn't be surprised if Ziggler talks to there's like a backstage segment where it's like Ziggler's talking to the Bella Twins, and he's like, oh, can you take her out for a girls' night out? And then she comes back from that, and then she's fucking Brie Bella 2.0. You know what I mean?
I hope they don't do that to her either. I could see it happening.
I hope they give us some explanation versus this is just what the fucking deal is now. Deal with it.
Yeah.
But you know how they do things nowadays. They do things and then they don't ever explain it. Like Seth Rollins using the RKO in a match where the RKO is banned, and their only explanation was, well, it wasn't really an RKO because Randy Orton didn't do it. Which, I don't know.
Right. But you're trying to make sense out of a match that didn't make sense in the first place.
I mean, at least keep with your own rules. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, that's the big thing with WWE is they don't know how to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like I think they have good intentions, but I think they realize that their audience's attention span doesn't last for more than 2 months, let alone 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then they'll do stuff on SmackDown, which I don't watch SmackDown. So there could have been a huge change up that happened on SmackDown, but I'll never hear about it because it's SmackDown, so they're not going to show you the replay from SmackDown. Unless it was something big, which barely happens on SmackDown.
They just need to get rid of fucking SmackDown if they're going to keep treating it the way they do.
Yeah.
And give us 3 solid hours of Raw instead of 3 crap hours of Raw and 2 crap hours of SmackDown.
They need to go back to 2 hours of Raw.
Yeah, 2 hours of Raw, and then make SmackDown decent again. Which, the only way I see that happening is if they split the brand again.
Yeah.
And they have enough talent now. They're buying out every fucking wrestler in the world. They have plenty of talent to do it.
They do. And I think that's what they were working on, and Daniel Bryan was injured.
Yeah, they were keeping him strictly on SmackDown. I mean, it wasn't nothing like, hey, he's not allowed to be on Raw, but that was their plan, though, was to keep him. If you want to see Daniel Bryan, you have to watch SmackDown.
Right.
Which probably would have got some ratings. Me personally, he's not that good enough. But who knows? Maybe it could have led to something.
Yeah, I strongly suggest you watch the Daniel Bryan WrestleMania special. That was really good. Um,
Which one? The one WrestleMania where he won the title?
yeah,
Okay.
they made a
That was the
special.
first pay-per-view I started watching back again, I believe.
Yeah, so what was that like? WrestleMania 30?
Yeah, 2 years ago, I
Yeah,
believe.
so that if you like watch that special, you'll be able to appreciate Daniel Bryan a little more, I think. And it's funny because he talks about the yes chant, and the only reason why it ever happened was he won the title before that WrestleMania, and whenever he came out the next night on Raw, he just started chanting yes because he thought it was annoying. And I don't think like it was like his idea. Like he just like ran out there and he just started chanting yes, and it stuck.
Yeah.
And his whole concept on it was this. I did this because it was annoying. He's like, I'm bragging that I just won this title, and people don't think I should have this title, so I'm bragging about it. So I'm just gonna hold the title up in the air, and I'm just gonna keep, pumping up in the air and just keep chanting yes, and it caught on. Like that was a complete fluke that even got by them.
Whereas most great ideas in WWE are.
Yeah.
It's weird what catches on and what doesn't. They push some stuff really hard sometimes, and it just doesn't catch. Whereas you got Stone Cold, all he says is what, and that fucking is wildfire.
And it still exists today.
Yeah.
God damn it.
And then fucking Kurt Angle, when he turned heel, everyone started chanting "You suck" to his music, and they tried to make him face. I remember watching that back in the day. They tried to make him face again, but it just was not possible because people would not give up on that chant.
Which is good.
Yeah.
Like that's called organic.
I feel like if he came back to this day, he'd have to have new music, or they would just chant that.
I think no matter what music is on, they would chant that. It's like they found a way to say John Cena sucks with his music.
Yeah.
And if they changed his music, they would find a way to say John Cena sucks. But my question is, do you think there's actually enough fans that would know who Kurt Angle is to that degree?
I think Kurt Angle's big enough. I think there would be a decent amount, not all, but there would be a decent amount that know Kurt Angle, because he's been big in TNA. He was huge in WWE back in the day for a while there. He ran in the company into at least the mid 2000s. I don't know exactly when he left, but he was huge, and he was really popular back in the day.
Yeah, he just seems like the kind of guy that the younger audience would have no idea who he is. It's like it'd be almost like bringing back Batista, but worse, because at least that younger audience sort of knew who he was. And then the older audience that was there at that Royal Rumble was just like, "Oh, I hate you." It's like you're not Daniel Bryan, but like Kurt Angle, I just think he has a different following, because TNA is one of those companies or promotions that the only people that watch it are hardcore wrestling fans, and then they watch it and just go, "This is horrible."
Yeah.
Like they lose audience on a weekly basis, I'm sure.
Yeah, everyone is jumping ship at this point. Everyone knows they're done. I mean, for God's sakes, they killed Mickey James in a story.
And then they have to release a press, they released a press release thing that was like, we did not kill her off.
It's sad that they have to do that. And then she goes on Twitter and saying that she's fine and she doesn't know what's going on with the story. Like, she's basically like bashing the company. Like, I don't know.
Which is good. Because the company needs that bashing from their talent at this time.
At this point, it's just you're beating a dead horse, really.
They are, but I think they really need that bashing at this moment. Just so they know, oh shit, we're not doing good if our wrestlers are confused. You know, it's like when you're having people like leave nonstop.
Yeah.
Like when you lose Christy Hemme, you know that you just went and did something really wrong.
Oh. All right. Anything you want to talk about? Anything else before we wrap it up?
No, not that I can think of off the top of my head.
All right. Well, we had a good first show. Talked about some good stuff. Next time, I'll make sure I might give that Tuesday Night Titans a watch. You hyped it up so well.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. Amazing. I want to do some plugs real quick. You can find us on Facebook. Let me get the website here. Just search On the Network on Facebook and you will find us. We are there. And also go ahead, check out AJ Maggot on The Bloke Show. Chunky Larry on Geeks of the Industry. And Wrestling Soup. Right? And we'll be getting a Twitter account soon, hopefully by the next episode. And you'll be able to follow us there as well. Oh, and on Twitter, I am rstrahs, RSTRAHS. All right.
All right. Have a good night.
Good night.
I'm better off.